Hey everybody, Yankee here. Today I want to talk about a subject that some people seem to have a real misunderstanding of. And it's about your right to purchase a firearm. There have been a lot of people, even coming after me in the past, when I have said in a video that I refuse to sell to someone. When I was doing a private sale, back when we could do those in Washington still, when we were still free to some extent, I had refused to sell firearms to certain people. You know, they show up to buy that gun face to face, and I'm like, nope, you're setting off my weirdo radar. I'm not doing business with you. Get to stepping. And people said, oh, you're violating that person's Second Amendment rights. And to a larger degree, I've seen people say things like, well, my friend went into a gun shop. They said, we don't like you. You're creeping us out. We're not selling you anything. They violated his Second Amendment rights. Well, let's clear up something here right now. It seems like a lot of people have a misconception about the Second Amendment. It does not give you the right to purchase a firearm from anyone. It does not say anyone has to sell you a firearm, period. I don't have to sell to you as an individual if I don't like the feeling you're giving me. Gun shops, same thing. You have no right to purchase a gun. Someone denying you that right or denying you a sale is not violating your Second Amendment rights. It seems a lot of people don't understand what the Second Amendment says. The Second Amendment basically says there shall be no laws against it. There shall be no infringements by the government on your right to own and bear firearms. Keep and bear. It does not say that individuals are required to provide them to you. It doesn't give you that kind of right at all. It's kind of like with the First Amendment where people say, he threw me out of his bar because of what I was saying. That's a violation of my First Amendment rights. No, it isn't. The First Amendment protects your free speech from government interference, not from another individual. If you're in someone's living room talking smack that they don't like and they tell you to get the fuck out, that's well within their rights. They are not violating your First Amendment right. If you're in my business and you're saying or doing things I don't want associated with my business and I tell you get out, I'm not violating your First Amendment rights. That's not how the First Amendment works, and it's not how the Second Amendment works. The Second Amendment protects you from government interference in your ability to keep and bear arms. It does not say any retailer has to sell to you. It does not say any individual has to sell to you. So if you go in and you creep them out and they don't sell to you, that's well within their rights as a retailer. If you come to my property and you meet me face to face to buy a gun, back when we could do it, and I said, no, I'm not selling to you, that's my right to do. You don't have a right for me to sell to you. I'm not obligated in any way to do that. Second Amendment doesn't apply here. That's a private individual. And the government doesn't get involved in those. That's the whole point. The government shouldn't be involved in the sale between two private citizens of any item as far as I'm concerned. And this is the same thing. You have a right to enjoy your ability and your freedom to purchase firearms if you can find somebody to sell to you. If you're a major weirdo or creep and people don't want to sell to you, that's not on them, that's on you. And they're not obligated to sell to you. So this whole notion that it's somehow a violation of someone's Second Amendment rights if you refuse to sell to them or if a gun shop denies them a sale, that's not anywhere in the Constitution. The Second Amendment doesn't cover that. If you don't want to find a way around that, like, oh, what do I do if they are denying me sales? Well, stop being a freak. Stop being a weirdo. Or find someone else who matches your freak that's willing to sell to you. Because other people are not obligated to sell to you. I have no obligation whatsoever to provide someone that I don't trust with a firearm. I have no obligation to be in any way associated through a sale with someone that I think might do something wrong. In fact, that's illegal. If I think you're someone who might be prohibited or is likely to use that firearm in an unlawful manner, and I sell it to you, I can be prosecuted under the law. So I have every right to refuse you service, just like any gun shop does. Their FFL's on the line. Their reputation's on the line. If you go in there and you're acting all freaky and you're talking about they'll be sorry once I get this, well, then they have every right to sell to you. Not only do they not have the right not to sell to you, they're obligated legally not to sell to you if you make them think that you're a bad guy. And what they consider bad or good, that's up to them, and they take the risk. And I can understand most FFLs don't want to take the risk of losing their livelihood by selling to the wrong person. Just like I don't want to take the risk of being associated with the wrong person. Even if I could say they had no actual outward signs that they were prohibited or that they would ever do anything bad, if I just have an inkling of a feeling, I'm still going to deny a sale to you because I don't want to take that chance. That's my personal reputation. I don't want to be involved in you doing something bad. I don't want to be able to say, hey, I'm the one who provided that guy that rifle. Or I'm the one who provided that guy that handgun. Don't want to have to do that. And I'm not obligated to. The Second Amendment in no way obligates me to do that. It's kind of like the old, we have the right to refuse service to anyone. And gun shops, private sellers can do that. As long as they're not doing it based on something that's protected. Like if they're like, we don't sell to men. Well, that would be illegal because you can't discriminate on sex. If they said, oh, I don't sell to Catholics. Well, that would be illegal because they're discriminating against you on your religious beliefs. Or if you're gay or straight or whatever, any of those things, well, that's illegal. If it's a protected status, that's different. And especially if it's in certain industries. But in the gun industry, as long as they're not discriminating against you on something like that, all they have to say is, I didn't trust that guy. I don't want to be associated with him. And as long as they honestly feel that way, I got no problem with that. I wouldn't want anyone to risk their own livelihood or their own reputation because of you. I'm not obligated to do that. I'm not obligated to help you exercise your Second Amendment rights. That's on you. You have the right to keep and bear arms. How you get them, that's your business, not mine. But I'm in no way obligated to help you, nor is any retailer. So stop this nonsense of like, oh, they're violating my Second Amendment rights because they said I was a weirdo and wouldn't sell me a gun. They didn't violate your rights. They're not the government. Just like I said, if you're in someone's house saying stuff they don't want to hear, they have every right to tell you, shut the fuck up or get out. It's not a violation of your First Amendment rights. Private businesses have a right to tell you, we want you to do this or we don't want you to do this in here. If you do these certain things, you're not welcome here. That's not a violation of your First Amendment rights, period. And just like if a private business says, no carrying in here. You cannot come in here if you're carrying a gun. That's not a violation of your Second Amendment rights. They are not obligated to allow you to protect yourself on their property. Now, I do believe that sets them up for liability if something happens to you, because if they take away your ability to protect yourself, then they should offer protection. But otherwise, they're not obligated. I'm not obligated to let you carry a gun in my house or on my property. If you walk on my property with a rifle on your back, I can meet you right there at my property line and said, that stays in your car or you don't come on my property. I'm not going to have you shooting any of the wildlife here. I have every right to deny you that. I can just tell you, don't come on my property, period. Because you don't have a right to go there. And you definitely don't have a right to carry a gun on my property. So the Second Amendment does not cover those things. People seem to think it covers those things just like they think the First Amendment covers, like, I can say anything I want about someone. They shouldn't be able to sue me. Well, yeah, they can. Because the government's not allowed to interfere in what you have to say. But if you say something false about someone that's slanderous or libel or whatever, well, then they have every right to sue you for it because you damaged them. It's not a violation of your First Amendment rights. It's not a violation of my First Amendment rights if YouTube has decided that I really can't talk about guns or show guns or anything else like that in live chats, etc. It's their private platform. It's their property. I don't agree with it, but it doesn't mean I think, oh, they're violating my Second Amendment rights. They're not. They're just discriminating against me. And I've got problems with them getting protections against doing that, like saying, oh, you get the protections of not being an actual editor since you don't edit, but then they edit, then they should lose the legal protections. That's not hypocritical. It's okay to say, I agree with their right to do it, but I don't think they should get protection if they're doing it. So that's what I wanted to come on here and talk about today, and I know I've gotten way off topic here, but you do not have a Second Amendment right to buy a gun from any individual or any business even. That's based on whether they want to do business with you, what they think is best business for them, etc. That's up to them. That's how retail works. That's how private sales work. I get to choose who I want to sell to. even when it comes to guns, because you don't have a Second Amendment right to buy a gun from anyone.